So, in the end, how much does it cost to get started with pastured pigs? Minus the pigs. Now, we're not including pigs here. So hey friends and neighbors, this is Chuck out at Sheraton Park Farms. Welcome back to the farm. Today, we want to do a little bit different video. We want to talk to you folks that are interested in starting your own pasture-based pork operation, your own pasture-based pig operation. So we've done a bunch of videos talking about our pasture-based pork and how we raise them, and throughout the video I'll be posting some links to some additional videos up above so that you can follow along and see how this applies to you. What we're going to talk about today is some of the very, very basic equipment that you need to get started with pasture-based pigs. A couple things to keep in mind. Number one, this is starter equipment. This is not going to be the equipment that you would need long term or as your pigs get bigger. This stuff is going to be basically suited for small piglets and pigs whenever they're just a fairly small size. Once they get into fuller size pigs, you're going to probably need to upgrade some things like feeders and waterers and that type of stuff. We're going to show some examples of equipment, just kind of show you what we use. These are examples. I'll post some links in the video description down below where you can find these things. May be able to find them a little bit cheaper. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, for sale websites and that kind of thing. You probably can pick this stuff up a little bit cheaper. What I'm going to post is going to be brand new prices. So hang around with us and find out exactly how much it would cost you to get started with pasture-based pigs. Hang around. So when you're thinking about caring for any kind of animal, there's a couple of things that are just basic principles. Number one, housing and confinement. Number two, feed. And number three, water. Those are the basics: housing, feed, and water. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is confinement. And with pasture-based pigs, piglets are going to need to be trained on the electric fence so that when you move them out of their training pen, they've been trained on that electric and they've learned to respect it, and they're going to stay where you want them to stay, in the paddock that you built for them. To build a training pen, the bare minimum equipment that you're going to need would be 4 of these 16-foot wired pig panels, and I would recommend getting 8 of these type of T-posts. 5-foot T-posts are going to be fine. You can buy a larger T-post, but with these pig panels, 5-foot will be fine. The reason I would recommend 8, you will really need you can get by with doing 4 on your training pen, 1 in the middle of each pig panel, and then pull them together in the corners with some, again, these are small piglets. Pull them together in the corner with some zip ties, and you can set up a very, very simple training pen. The reason I'm recommending 8 of the T-posts is that later on, whenever you set up your big paddock, you're going to need additional T-posts as corners, because you're going to need a stronger post in the corner when you're pulling your wire. So T-posts, 5-foot T-posts, you can pick those up at Tractor Supply for $3.59 a piece. 8 of them is going to cost you $28.72. When you're picking up T-posts, you also need to get some of these yellow plastic insulators like you see on this particular T-post here, so that whenever you're pulling your electric wire, your wire is insulated and you're not grounding out and getting short, so you're carrying a spark. You can pick up a pack, 25 of these insulators, $3.47. The pig panels, 16-foot pig panels, again, our local Tractor Supply, $21.99 a piece. You get 4 of those. That's going to be $87.96. So that's going to get you your training pen. Now, let's talk about the electricity and the electric wire that you're going to need to go inside the training pen to train the piglets on, and then the wire that you're going to need later on when they come out of that training pen and get ready to go on the pasture. To set up the wire inside the training pen, you're going to need a roll of poly wire. you can use, there are a lot of different brands out there. Gallagher, Stay Fix, Premier One has some, a lot of different brands of the electric wire. I found wire online. I forget the brand, Farm Fix, I forget exactly what it was. I'll post a link to it in the video description down below. 1,320 feet of wire is $28.99. So you're going to need some wire. You're also going to need some of these white step-in T-posts. These posts are they're what you're going to use along your fence row to keep your wire up off of the ground. So you're going to need a handful of those. I would recommend getting at a minimum 10 of those. And you know, if you can afford more, I'd pick up more, but I would recommend at a minimum starting out with 10 of those. They're $1.69 a piece, so $16.90 for the T-posts. You're also going to need an energizer, and we use, this is a SpeedRite 2000. This is an expensive energizer, but doing a little bit of research, you can pick up 110 volt energizers for about $49.99. They're a 0.7 joule AC power Zebra energizer. That's a pretty small energizer, but you could make it work if you were trying to do this on a real tight budget. So your energizer is going to cost you $49.99. So that really that really covers the confinement piece. You've got your training pen, you've got posts to build your paddock with, you've got wire to build your paddock with, and you've got an energizer. Back on energizers, you can either get the AC 110 version that is going to require a plug, you're going to just plug it into an outlet, or you can get the type that will run off of a car battery. We use the batteries. We've got 3 or 4 batteries around here. We always keep one on the charger, so we just trade them out. This particular energizer that we have is an either or. You can plug this one in, or you can attach it to a car battery. So that's your energizer. The reel, you can use a reel if you want to. We didn't start using reels until we had been keeping animals for a couple months. It's very handy to have, but not an absolute must-have. So, reels are. So now that we've covered confinement with the training pen and the fencing for the wire, let's talk about feed and water. To start, you can use a feed bowl and a water bowl for piglets. These are not going to handle a lot of pigs, but you can feed 5 or 6 piglets out of this, and you can water 5 or 6 piglets out of these. These are a little bigger than what I found online. You can pick up 8-quart feed pans and 8-quart water bowls for $7.99 a piece. So you're looking, at about $15.98 there for a feed and a water system to get you started. Again, this is just starter for piglets. Bare minimum equipment. So feed and water bowl, I would recommend getting the rubber flexible type, not the hard, firm, rigid rubber type bowls, because the pigs are going to step in them, they're going to flip them over, they're going to walk on them, they're going to roll them around, and they're going to break them. These are very flexible, and the pigs can turn them inside out and it doesn't hurt them. They just pop right back into shape. So feed and water, you can get by with that for, again, $15.98. And then lastly, on the feeding part, bag of feed, first bag of feed to get you started, I'm including that in the cost. A bag of feed, $14.29. So that will get you started on your first set of piglets, and then depending on how many you've got, it's going to determine how long that bag of feed is going to last, and then you'll just have to replace that feed. I also want to talk real quick about upgrading equipment and where do you go from here. Once you've got the basics, you've had your pigs for a couple months, what's next? Well, there are a couple options. One option is to look around and find some good used larger equipment. This is a, I call it a PAX style feeder. It's a round feeder that we can put, I don't know how much we can get in there. I think we probably can get 750 or 800 pounds of feed in this. But you can find these work great. They got the flip up doors. We just fill them with feed every so often, depending on how large the pigs are, how many are in there, and that determines how long the feed's going to last. This one, I picked this one up for 60 bucks. I did have to do a little work on it. Had a rusted out hole in the bottom, but we took the angle grinder, cut that out, cut a piece of galvanized tin, and riveted it back on. Put a couple of 4x4s on the bottom, and put it out here, and it works great. The pigs don't care what it looks like. They don't care that we've had to work on it. As you can see, it serves their purposes really well. So larger round style feeders work really good for later on whenever your pigs get a little bit bigger, and that will maintain them probably until they're ready to be processed. So talking long-term water, once you get past the bowl stage, we use pickle barrels with pig nipples. These work fantastic. We've kept as many as 13 or 14 pigs on 2 of these. Got to fill them pretty frequently, but they work. Pickle barrels, we've picked these things up for 20 bucks a piece. Not sure how much the nipples cost at the feed store, but these work great, and you can fill them up daily, every other day, depending on how many pigs you got, how big they are. But for our long-term solution, for our adult pigs, we've used water barrels with nipples. This will be our 3rd year. So these work out great. Great reusable item. The pigs can knock them over, bounce them around, doesn't hurt them. Sometimes they'll mess a nipple up. You got to take it out and put a new bulkhead on it and fix it. But these are super easy to fix, super cheap to put together. So for long term, these work really, really nice. So that's the Sheraton Park list of basic equipment that you need to have on hand to start your pasture-based pig operation. Didn't talk about housing because depending on your climate, that's going to vary. We found an old pallet, it's a large pallet. We found an old pallet and just built a very, very simple structure on that. Most of that is scavenged stuff. I think the only money I have in that is in the pallet. I think I gave 20 bucks for it. I think I have $20 in that, maybe 25 bucks if you count the screws. So housing, again, if you're in a warmer climate, as long as the pigs have got some trees where they can get under cover, that's probably going to be okay. If you're in a colder climate, you may need some calf huts or something like this with some heat, or something different like that. So didn't include housing. We'll leave that up to you. But if I've left something out, tell me what it is down below. I think I've got everything, but if there's something that you can think of that I've not mentioned, mention that in the comments down below so that folks are watching the video and looking through those can pick up on what we've forgotten, and everybody can benefit from different folks' knowledge. So in the end, how much does it cost to get started with pastured pigs? Minus the pigs. Now we're not including the pigs here. So you're going to need the stuff for a training pen, 8 of the 5-foot T-post, $28.72. 25 pack of insulators, $3.47. 10 of the step-in posts, $16.90. Some wire, $28.99. An Energizer, you can pick those up for 50 bucks, $49.99. 4 of the 16-foot pig panels, going to cost you $87.96. An 8-quart feed bowl, an 8-quart water bowl, $7.99 a piece. Bag of feed, $14.29. So in the end, you can start your pasture-based pig operation for under $250. This comes up to a grand total of $249.82. So, and again, probably can find some of this stuff used. Might be able to find it cheaper than what I did on my research. So look around and see what you can come up with. If you're interested in pigs, I encourage you to do this. Pigs are a lot of fun, great return on your investment. You know where your food's coming from. and they're just a ton of fun to watch. They've got such personalities. We really enjoy our pigs. So listen, we appreciate you watching. I think that's going to do it for this video. If you like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button and follow on with what we're doing. Give us a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below what you think about the pastured pigs and what we might have forgotten. And hit that bell icon so that you know whenever we're posting new videos. And we'll see y'all on the next video. Thanks.